more than you think.
Okay, ask John a question.
You're videotaping me. This is wrong.
How was the dump?
I hope you're going to edit this.
How was the dump? Look at the camera.
Well, the dump was really rough, especially when Sister Terry started up chucking cookies everywhere.
Okay. What else about the dump?
What about the dump? The dump was awful. I mean, people were actually living in trash.
Look at the camera.
It was... I'm looking at you guys. Well, we went to the dump, and what we did is we went to a place where they were feeding lots of children. And I think that morning they were feeding around 60 children, but they said that they would feed, like, in the afternoon a lot more. I think like 200 children or something like that. Is that correct? Because 300 in the afternoon? Because we went to a lot of different feeding places with children. But anyway, at the dump, what was unbelievable was there was just a huge dump, like you would imagine. Garbage, everything you could ever imagine, dead things, buzzards everywhere, flies everywhere. The stench was unbearable. And this place where they were feeding these children were, I mean, just yards from the dump. I mean, they literally had like a tin, or a tin little construction building, that they had put out there that a scrap tin that they were feeding kids in. And it wasn't but a few yards from the actual dump. I mean, they were feeding these children there, which thank God they're feeding them, because these kids were normally actually living and eating off of the dump every day. And this ministry goes in there and makes sure that they get fed, because otherwise the kids would literally have to eat the trash. But when we started taking a tour of the dump, we went right into it, and as we did, of course, the smell was so nauseating that I won't say who, but somebody was almost blowing some chunks, and we were out there. We continued to go further. I didn't say who, but we went further in, and as we did, I'm not saying who. I'm sure you'll understand what that is. We'll be telling you about that one, because that's a big thing here. Actually, Ron Briante did that to me the first time he did that to me. I was like, oh, I'm scared of that. What's that? What's going on now? But then they all explained what that was about. But so we go through, and we're like walking over all of this unbelievably bad smelling trash. We get to this area, and it looks like they've thrown out all these shrimp everywhere. And I almost slipped through it. It was so slippery when I stepped in it. And then we go further, and it looks like just a pile of guts from some animal. There are buzzards everywhere, and then there were people that were literally building homes on top of this dump site. And as we looked over to the left, we saw some people working and picking out stuff out of the dump, and then we went over this little ridge because we wanted to get a better view. And about this time, my camera, the battery dies, so Mike gets to go up there. I went up there with him, but I couldn't take pictures. We go over the ridge, and then all you could see was, wherever you could see, was just like a sea of just total trash. I mean, there was just total trash everywhere you looked, and then you could see just people everywhere working. Sure, and you could see people working everywhere throughout this whole area, working on getting food and refuge or whatever they could find to recycle. They would find, Coke bottles, glass items, plastic items, anything you could think of to recycle. And they were out there doing that, and that's how they made their living. And they literally lived there in the dump. They ate there in the dump. They made their living off of the dump. And thank God we brought some food in, but there's a lot more a lot more that needs to be done. So anyway, that's my story about the dump. Question number 2? I guess that's it. And for all of y'all, I'm